You're a traveler in 600 BCE, visiting a market you've never seen before. You say, "Greetings, good merchant. Mayest I sup upon thine fruit?" The merchant says,
"Nay, weary traveller, unless ye ply my palm with righteous legal tender."
So you pull a cow out of your back pocket. Well, that's not going to work. A cow can't fit in a pocket, not even a little one. You could try bartering. We've covered that in our previous video. But barter is so last century. We have the concept of money now, so we don't need to do that anymore. Instead, you could avoid all of the pitfalls that accompany bartering with this little thing called money. But still, there are issues. Right now, all we have is commodity money. As we explained in the previous video, commodity money is the use of any type of valuable as money, like cattle. Cattle, through most of history, were prized by most people, assuming they weren't vegetarians. Though cattle could be used as a form of money, they weren't very practical, as our first example shows. They're just too big. Another commodity often used as money was the cowrie shell. These are small shells of sea snails. They're nice and portable, but they also have problems. Not all cowrie shells are the same, and they can break. Don't blame the snails. They were just trying to live their best little snaily lives at the bottom of the sea. They didn't know their shells would be used as money. Cows, cowrie shells, and other well-known commodities that don't start with the word cow just aren't going to work. You need something small and durable, but also something that everyone wants. I know, metals. Everyone wants metals. Some, like gold and silver, are very valuable. So you just need to bring some gold and silver with you. But how will you carry it? How will people know the quality and the amount of the gold and silver without having to run expensive tests all the time? How about you find a reputable gold and silversmith to pound out some small bits of metal? Maybe shape them into small discs that are easy to carry. Then have them press a maker's mark or something to prove the source and quality of the discs. Congratulations, you have now invented coins! With this invention and the involvement of governments, coins would lead to continual struggles and competition over centuries that could be considered coin wars. All because you, a weary traveler in search of some fruit, couldn't fit a cow in your back pocket. Of course, that's not how it happened. That's not how any of it happened. Before we talk about how it really happened, here's a word from our sponsor, us! Echoplex Media is our corporate overlord. This channel is only one of many shows under the Echoplex Media banner. You can find out about all of our other shows at echoplexmedia.com. We have any kind of end-of-the-world corporate dystopia content you want. You know, for those times when you feel like the world is just too stable and sane. But what if you don't want to watch dystopia beat videos? Do you want swag? Of course you do. You can get Echoplex swag at eplex.store. We have all the images slapped on shirts. Check out Toast Cat. I made this image and slapped it on a shirt. Me, HK Perrin. I'm a fashion designer. Or you can get a tinfoil hat. Always popular. For a limited time, you can use the promo code MONEYPOWER to get 15% off any order. That's MONEYPOWER, all caps, one word, for 15% off. Or you can join our membership if you just want to sponsor us without getting any cool swag. No tinfoil, toast, or cats were harmed in the making of this swag. Now back to the coin wars. Let's back up a bit. Okay, maybe more than a bit. In our last video, we discussed how people used all sorts of commodities as money, known as commodity money. All of these commodities had issues. Everything from not being easily divisible, to breaking, to aliens turning your cows inside out and leaving crop circles in your wheat. Metals solved many of these problems. They were very durable and nearly infinitely divisible by smiths. Even better, aliens seemed to mostly ignore them. You could also use different types of metal for different size purchases. We all know and love and want gold and silver, but copper and bronze were more common and used for your everyday fruit purchases. So now you're back in the market ready to pay for that fruit. You reach into your back pocket and pull out a nice ingot of copper. Then pick your arms up off the ground as they just ripped off from the weight of the copper ingots. These ingots, known as talents, were about 25 kilograms, or about 55 to 60 freedom units, Merca. Talents were later used as a measure of value. You may have heard of a talent of gold. usually a gold coin that was similar in value to a copper ingot. Though we can use metals for trade, we need something much smaller and portable. But who was the first to make coins? We have two competitors in the contest for the first coin. In this corner is Lydia, an Iron Age kingdom that occupied the west half of modern-day Turkey. The country, not the bird. In this other corner is China. I don't have to explain China, do I? Who was the first? Somewhere around 610 BCE, Alyattes of Lydia, a king in Lydia, created the first Lydian lion coins. These were coins made of electrum, a naturally occurring alloy of gold and silver. The coins were not totally round and looked very crude compared to the coins we're used to today, but they were all pretty close to the same size and weight, which gave them each a consistent value. Just don't try to use them in a vending machine. They are called Lydian lions because every coin was stamped with an image of a lion head on one side, because people were into trading cat memes even 2,600 years ago. But really, the lion was a symbol of the king, and the image was considered a royal lion. This gave the coins royal authority. The coins were small, but since they were made of gold and silver, they were still too valuable to exchange for cheaper items like bread. For a long time, these coins were considered the first coins ever made. Even in older articles and texts, you may still find them listed as the earliest coins. So what about China? Did they beat the West to making coins? China comes from behind with a knockout blow! In August of 2021, Chinese archaeologists found evidence of even earlier coins. First, let's talk about the difference between Chinese and Lydian coins. This will help explain what exactly these archaeologists found. Lydian coins were hammered coins. These kinds of coins were made by placing a piece of electrum metal between two dies, then striking the dies with a hammer. This required two people, one to hold the dies and one to swing the hammer. I assume the person swinging the hammer would have to be very skilled, or there would be a lot of sore thumbs in Lydia. Though there were some innovations in coin making, like using sheets of metal to make multiple coins at once, this way of making coins lasted until 1550 CE in the West. China, on the other hand, casted coins. To cast the coins, the metal for the coins would be completely melted, then poured into a coin-shaped mold. The molds could be more intricate, allowing multiple coins to be made at one time. No thumbs were harmed in the making of these coins. Casting coins generally resulted in higher quality coins, which had some advantages we'll discuss in a bit. Back to our Chinese archaeologists. What did they find in 2021? They found the molds for coins, not the coins themselves, though these were not coins like we know them today. China initially would make miniature versions of farming tools for trade. This eventually led to these coin molds found in 2021 that were making tiny spades, or shovels for us Americans. These spades were far too small to use, maybe by mice, but not by people. Although these spades were not round discs like we usually think of coins, they were about the size of coins and used like coins, so they are coins. China wins. China is a bit boring when it comes to coins. Sure, they eventually developed disc coins like the West, and they even added holes in the middle of the coins to allow a string to pass through them so you could hold all your coins together. They also innovated adding text to coins with fun inscriptions like, "Those who are counterfeiting will be beheaded." But coins in the West became a part of legend. It all started when the Greeks adopted coins. The Greeks don't give Lydia the credit they deserve. Instead, according to Greek myth, Hermodike II, the daughter of Agamemnon of Syme and the wife of King Midas, yes, that King Midas, invented coins. Presumably, after King Midas would touch something or someone and turn them into gold, Hermodike would melt the gold down and create coins. Of course, that didn't happen. The story of King Midas was likely a metaphor for the economic policies of the very real king. The idea of everything the king touched turned to gold was likely about the real King Midas pushing his subjects to sell their goods and services for precious metals, thus turning everything to gold in a way. But King Midas didn't use coins, as he died long before coins were first made in Lydia. However, the electrum in Lydian lion coins likely came from the river Pactolus. This is the same river in which King Midas supposedly washed away his ability to turn everything he touched into gold, thus linking King Midas to the invention of coins again. The idea of coins first came to the Greeks through Cymene Hermodike, the daughter of Agamemnon. As such, the first Greek coins had an image of a horse stamped in them as a reference to the Trojan War. The Romans stole the idea of coins from the Greeks, just like they stole everything else from the Greeks. Like the old saying, when in Rome, beat up a Greek, steal his money, enslave him, and force him to teach you philosophy. I'm pretty sure that's how the saying goes. Anyways, back to Roman coins. The Romans started adding the value of the coin on the coin. This was the first example of fiat money, where the government determines the value of money instead of the intrinsic value of the metal in the coin itself. This wasn't really fiat money in that most people would just use the value of the metal instead of what the Roman government said, but it was a start in that direction. This leads us to the War of the Coins, the Coin Wars. In this war, there were two sides. The people using the coins were on one side, while the people making and issuing the coins were on the other. Let's start with the people using coins. First, remember that coins are basically commodity money with an assumed quality and quantity. Coins back in the day got their value from the metal they were made out of. Most of these metals were precious metals, or at least very useful metals. The process to create coins improved continually from the time they were first invented. Early coins were not the standardized, very precisely made coins we have today. The process of striking coins resulted in coins that were not all the same size and weight, though they were close. Also, hand-striking coins with a hammer didn't always center the image they were trying to press into the coins. You may have seen really old coins that were not at all round or centered. You may have even thought the people making them were drunk. I mean, if you're making that many coins, you gotta blow off steam somehow. But this is where some unscrupulous people found a way to make a little side money off the coins. Nobody's actually measuring the coins when they're traded, and the coins were made of valuable metal. Who would notice if you took a little off the side? You could call it a side hustle. Thus, clipping became a big problem early in the history of coins. Clipping is where someone would cut or clip a bit off the side of a coin. Not enough for anyone to notice, hopefully, but clipping every gold coin you see could add up to a nice profit in gold. Clipping caused the coins to shrink over time, as more and more people would clip a bit off the coins. Little could be done by the issuers of the coins, but try to make better and better coins with exacting size and perfectly centered images. You may have noticed that coins today have very specific sizes and shapes, with special attention given to the edges of the coins. Some coins have rims, others have ridges or grooves to make it more obvious if a coin is clipped. These ridges are called milling in the UK because they just have to be different. But clipping coins now would probably not do you much good, for reasons we'll get to later. The second way coin users would fight the power of coin issuers was to counterfeit coins. The goal was to create new coins with lower percentages of the precious metals that give the coins value. Usually these coins would try to copy the coins issued by a well-regarded coin issuer of some kind. Just don't counterfeit those Chinese coins. They go hard. The best way to fight counterfeit coins is to make better and better coins with better technology that is harder to copy. This works up to a point. Eventually, when your coins are really good, the counterfeits may not measure up, but general users may not be able to tell the difference. Coin issuers had their own way to wage war on the users. Coin issuers could counterfeit other issuers' coins, but that was not the best way to make extra money. Literally. The thing all issuers tried to do is have their coins become the standard coins everyone used. The wider your coins spread, the better. To spread your coins more, you have to get more people to use them. How do you get more people to use them? You've got to build trust. And how do you build trust? You make the best coins, with not necessarily the highest percentage of precious metals, but a very consistent percentage that is hard to counterfeit. How do you make more money off of all the trust you've built? Debasement. To debase a coin is to reduce the amount of precious metal in the coin and replace the metal with a lower value metal. To do it right, you need to make sure the debased coin looks and weighs as close to the original coin as possible. This works great until people figure out you debased the coin. Then the whole scheme falls apart. If you are careful and don't debase your coins too much, people may just adjust exchange rates and continue using your coin. But if you go too far, you could completely destroy all trust and even your local economy. People start complaining about inflation and how it's all a government conspiracy instigated by the lizard people infiltrating the highest levels. The Romans were great at debasing coins. Early in the Roman Empire, 25 silver coins had the same value of 1 gold coin, which was about 9 grams of gold, or 1/50th of a pound of gold. America! By the end of the empire, 24 silver coins were the same value as 1 gold coin, which was then 6 grams of gold, or about 1/72nd a pound. America! All of the coins made by the Romans were debased. So now, if you ever beat up a Time Lord and steal his TARDIS, you know the exchange rates for coins in the Roman Empire. Just be sure to keep track of when you land in the Roman Empire. These coin wars would continue until the present. The quality of coins are much better, and counterfeiting may still be a problem, but less likely. The invention of fiat money caused the counterfeiting of coins to be less profitable. What is fiat money? That's something we'll cover in another video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We now have other problems with coins. Have you ever noticed you can hardly ever find US pennies from before 1982? Does anybody even use physical money anymore? Well, the US had a problem that came to a head in 1982. Pennies are made of copper, but copper is an industrial metal used in many ways. The demand for copper started to outstrip the supply from mines. Thus, the price of copper began to rise. So the US did what every other coin issuer throughout history did. They debased the penny. Before 1982, pennies were 95% copper and 5% zinc. Afterwards, pennies were 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper, thus making pennies much cheaper to produce. So what happened to all of the pennies from before 1982? Well, the price of copper rose so much that the copper in pre-1982 pennies is worth more than the value of the penny. Thus, people would collect as many pre-1982 pennies as they could, then melt down the pennies for the copper and make a profit selling that copper. As of April 2024, a pre-1982 penny has almost 3 cents worth of copper in it. Thus, the coin wars are ongoing. They may never end, but the coins themselves will always have a special place in our economy. Unless we go all digital, but that's another video. If you want to know how it all started with money, click on the link on the screen right now. It's our first video. Thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe to keep up to date as we continue our series on the history of money. We'll catch you in the next video.